what's on the agenda.
Alderman Connors.
Here.
This is all
Alderwoman Barbosa. Alderman McNamara.
present.
Alderman Santiago.
Present.
Alderman Simpson.
Present.
Alderman Gibson.
Here.
Alderman Pabon.
Here.
Alderman Smedley.
Present.
Alderwoman Belain-Saavedra. Commissioner Daddio. Commissioner Peter. Also seated is Alderman Russell. You have 9 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We will begin public participation regarding the $2 million appropriation and bond authorization for Allen Street. Please remember to state your name and address for the record and limit your speaking to 3 minutes. Are there any, we do have 2 people signed up. I will just call on them first. And first we have Mr. Frank Chase of Roxbury Road. It's the guy with the mouth.
All right, hit the wrong one. Sorry about that, guys. Frank Chase, 24 Roxbury. When Mayor Stewart took office in 2013, she chose to ignore Mayor O'Brien's 2013 $7 million Cardinal Engineering Plan, which Aaron inherited for the Allen Street project. The 2025 Cardinal Plan will total $14 million plus. Director of Public Works Moriarty noted March 31st, we just got back comments from Connecticut's DOT. We're wrapping up final changes. We will be bid ready for the Allen Street project within the next few weeks and waiting on funding, which hopefully comes soon. That's what we're here about tonight, some funding for it. The Allen Street project is unique in many ways. The depth, the high ledge, no phasing in. Cardinal engineers have noted these specific characteristics. They are unique but doable. Weston Simpson engineers noted in August of 2023 the Allen Street project must be a high priority because the infrastructure is at crisis levels. Over the past 12 years, Mayor Stewart and her associates have found ways to fund many high-profile projects, including the Beehive Bridge, Public Works Operations Center, Stanley Events Pavilion, downtown luxury housing, Osgood Park, and many others. Recently, $158 million in bonding was approved for various school projects, $41 million for the New Britain White Bridge Waterworks, and nearly $3 million for various park projects. This leaves $3.5 million that we know of in bonding money available for Allen Street. We are hoping additional city and/or state dollars will be allocated to complete the funding for Allen Street. We shall see how this develops. Mayor Stewart and her associates insist that the state must bond the approximate $10 million funding gap for the Allen Street project. Stewart noted that the city could never fund the costly Allen Street project. As we have noted, Stewart's robust funding track record speaks for itself. Mayor Stewart is falsely blaming our state legislators for their lack of action. Meanwhile, over many years, our state and federal partners have funneled hundreds of millions of earmark-free dollars through New Britain, which Stewart has spent her way, ignoring the Allen Street project. We have easily debunked all of Mayor Stewart's talking points regarding the Allen Street project, from the ignored O'Brien plan in 2013 to the project complexities, from funding and planning myths to the infamous $4 million phony transfer before an election. All of Aaron's excuses are simply spin that some may accept. However, the vast majority of us will see through these deflections. Over the last 12 years, Mayor Stewart chose to ignore the Allen Street project. After the flooding water recedes and during dry spells, the Allen Street problem is conveniently forgotten by our city officials. Meanwhile, the flooding and sanitary backups will continue, penalizing all of the residents in the Ward 4 Allen Street Basin. There have been 13 flooding events since 2018, the year we started tracking the flooding, all on Mayor Stewart's watch, affecting 50-plus properties. The cause and effect has been clearly identified. The plan is ready. It's time to prioritize, fully fund, and construct the Allen Street project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. And our next speaker is Mark Scapolati.
Good evening, council members. I'm Mark Scapolati. I live at 55 Brighton Street in New Britain. Thanks for the opportunity to share some information. I completely agree with Frank's concerns and the details that he shared, but I also want to add a little bit more perspective. My concern is my house on Brighton Street, we get sewage that comes up through my deep sink. It's not the water table during the flooding, it's because the waters are mixed that the sewage comes through, which with my 2 sump pumps is very difficult to keep up with. So this would be a great help for myself. But the other problem is my daughter lives on Hampton Street, and Hampton Street is like a river when we get these heavy rains. We've spent approximately $8,000 trying to fix her basement, but hers is due to the water table and the water pressure that comes through. Consistent with what Frank has said is that this is a long-standing issue. I've got letters that have gone back through and were raised by some of my neighbors as well as my wife and I, along with an article that was in the Hartford Courant on Friday, January 3rd, 1997, about how bad our city's underground pipes. I don't know if you folks are familiar with this, but this was specific to New Britain and the miles of it, and there's a quote from Mayor Pollock at the time acknowledging the problem and the money that it was going to take to get it repaired. During my time, and I've been in my house on Brighton Street for 45 years, I've seen a lot of people come and go. At one point in time, in November 26, 1999, there was a letter that a number of the families in the area signed that was addressed to Mayor Pollock and raised the issue and asked, what besides just cleaning the storm drains could be done, and with the understanding that they were going to do some inspections and determine the extent of the problem. We didn't get a response to that, but of the people that signed it, my next door neighbor at 49 Brighton Street left. The other neighbor at 35 Brighton Street is gone. And my neighbor at 50 Stewart Street, who his basement would flood because Brighton Street would flood and it would go down the driveways into his backyard and into his hatchway and flood his basement. And he didn't get any resolution, and he left too. I don't want to leave. I'd like to see this addressed. I know it's a tough decision and it's a lot of money, but I'd appreciate it if consideration could be given to this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scopoletti. Do we have anyone on the telephone? Nope. Just date myself by saying telephone. Are there any speakers for this item? Any additional speakers for this item? One last time. Seeing no speakers, we will close public participation and move on to the special meeting. The time is now 6:09 p.m. And
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Smedley,
can I ask for a short recess, sir, for a caucus with my team?
does that require a second? Second. All in favor of a brief recess?
Aye.
All right. I hearing no objection. Let's give it 10 minutes. Is that too much? Great. call the April 16th, 2025 special meeting of the Standing Bonding Subcommittee back to order. The first item on the agenda is to act on a report to the Common Council of the City of New Britain regarding a $2 million appropriation and bond authorization for Allen Street. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair?
Alderman Santiago?
Make a motion to accept and refer to the full council a favorable recommendation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley by a second. Sorry, any discussion?
Mr. Chair, can you just recognize Mr. Peter Seglars as being seated?
Thank you. The chair so recognizes. Welcome, Peter. And so we're back to the first item on the agenda. Do I have any discussion on this item?
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Santiago.
may I have Daniel? Daniel, thank you. And just Jonathan.
Okay.
Hi, how
Hi.
you doing?
Good, how are you?
Appreciate you writing this up for us. Of
course.
For today's meeting. I had one question. I was trying to reach out to you, but I didn't get no, I called and left a message, but
Oh, I'm sorry,
it
I
was
didn't
just
get
my
your voicemail
question.
message.
The question was that I was going to ask, I'm going to ask you now, was
Sure.
that after the bonding from the last meeting, what was the total that was left from that time because of how much was originally was going to be bonded for? Then once we had amended it to have the two projects continue, but the other
Okay.
ones weren't going to. What was the total left? Do you remember,
I don't.
Mrs. Perugini?
I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't get your
don't have
message.
it offhand, but if you were backed out two projects, then you'd have that funding available.
Which is about 3.7,
Which is-
3.575,
Yeah.
correct? All right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
Sure, sorry, and I didn't get your
No,
message.
no,
I
I'm
would
sorry,
have
it's
called you
okay.
back.
I just wanted to make sure the numbers
course.
before I did any amendments or anything. I wanted to make sure that we were through with that, so that way I didn't have overage or under of what we had to amend on this one right here.
Sure, do you have any other questions?
Thank you.
Or is that it? Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Alderman Santiago. Yes,
through you, I would like to make a couple amendments.
go ahead.
First amendment. Oh, I'm sorry. First amendment, the FERS was resolved right after second paragraph, after a receive for the project. We would like to put in this appropriate and bonding authorization is contingent upon the mayor's receipt of grant fundings for the state of Connecticut in amount sufficient to complete the project.
Mr. Chair, through you to my colleague, it is already existing there. 1, 2, third line, third paragraph down, the
Oh, that's
bottom of
what-
the first page.
Excuse me?
Oh, I apologize. Oh, this is the sub, I apologize, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
substitute language,
Sorry. I'll second that.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley. Thank you. We'll vote on one amendment at a time. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All
Mr.
opposed,
Chairman,
nay.
which amendment? Sorry.
This is the amendment to change the appropriation, to add the language that you currently see at the bottom of the first page, beginning with this appropriation, ending with complete the project.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Thank you. The item is amended. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Alderman Santiago?
As we had discussed, and it seems like everyone forgot that day, that the money that was left was 3.575, which we had agreed that that money would have gone into the bonding for Allen Street. The 2 million was just a template, so we have in our hands something proof that it was written, so that there was no he say, she say. At the moment, we have this bonding, which was 2 million, but it really was supposed to be 3.575, which was the difference of what it was after the agreement of last council meeting. So I would like to make amendment to correct this. So instead of saying $2 million, it would be $3.575 million in all appropriate areas that does have the $2 million, which would be the header, second resolve on the second, both paragraphs. I just want to make sure I'm covering all the spots. No, not even at the end. Yep, That's it. Those are the two areas that have the 2 million. Yeah, first and second paragraph. First and second paragraph that says 2 million, and then that header.
Thank you. So do we have
Need a sec-
a record of those changes? Yep. Is there a second on the amendment? Second. Seconded by Alderman Simpson. Any discussion on the amendment? Alderman Simpson.
If I could just have Mr. Perugini come up for a second. So just one thing that has been brought to my attention is concerns about a bonding cap. Is there a concern from the Finance Department about a bonding cap regarding this resolution?
There is if it was a lot more, but based on the replacing what was replaced on it, it wouldn't affect the bonding cap.
Thank you. That's, I think, all I had for questions, but if I can just speak on this amendment for a moment. I am deeply in favor of it as the only council member whose district did take a hit in the material projects the city decided to prioritize. Allen Street does not deserve the 2 million. It deserves the full 3.575 million because this is in the interest of not only our residents, but also those concerned with property values, livability in our city. Without people, we don't have a city, and if we keep neglecting the material needs of our people, as demonstrated by our public participation earlier, we're in for trouble. So I am massively in favor of this, and I hope to see it pass through the full council and avoid a veto from the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Simpson. Do I have any further discussion? Alderman Scott. Alderman Scott.
I also am in favor of this. I'm not a voting member here tonight, but I wanted to come because I am very concerned about what's happening on Allen Street in the flooding as it impacts Ward 4 and Ward 3 because we're right there on the line. And where I live, I'm being impacted personally as well by this. I want to thank Frank for all the hard work that he's done on this and sharing all of the facts regarding what is happening here and what has happened and how it's been ignored. And our other person that came as well. We need to prioritize what we're doing here. And it was told that we were going to get the 3.75 that night, and I'm hoping that we're going to make sure that we get the full amount that we need to have it be supported by the state to get the rest of the funding for this project. There's many issues with health, the safety. As it happened, I think last year we had a couple of senior citizens die, not here in New Britain, but this is showing us why we need to be fixing the flooding issues. When I drive down Allen Street and there is a flood, it is dangerous. The businesses in that parking lot are flooding. It is impacting apartments on that street. It's not just, and I heard somewhere it's only 50 people that are being impacted. I think it's more than 50. It's just not reported by all 50. I mean, by all of the people that are being impacted. Our houses with the insurance, our houses with the way that they're being impacted by possible mold, the cleaning out, the expenses that we're spending on this is out of the roof. And so I am highly in favor of it, and I will do whatever I have to do, my part, to stand up for the people and to make sure that this project gets completed. So thanks.
Thank you, Alderman Scott. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we previously met with our state representatives, walked on Allen Street, and allocated some money towards this as a promise that the city would be committed to the project if the state met their end of the bargain. Fast forward, the state still hasn't done that. We met in the room to my right. The audience has left just a few days ago, and we agreed to scratch 2 public improvement projects in lieu of, and at the time the deal was $2 million towards the Allen Street project so that residents like Mr. Chase wouldn't have to have the great big dig that he has going on in his property right now occur. So I'm struggling to understand where the conversation of 3.5 or 3.7 came up, because I was in the room, I was present, I heard with my ears, $2 million is the deal for this special bonding subcommittee meeting, and now we're here trying to change it. I'll tell you right now, it will pass at $2 million, it's not gonna pass at a penny over. So, I'm just trying to figure out where the concept of 3 or more came up when the deal was $2 million in the back room.
Alderman Santiago beat you by a moment, so Alderman Santiago first.
The conversation was 2 million as just to write something up on a paper, which she wrote up, came up, but she said that we'll be able to amend on the floor on our bonding, and which I have it in text message that I text the caucus that we will be able to amend it that day. I will not come up with some excuse or some kind of number without knowing that exactly how much was left over, which was the 3.575, if we didn't have that conversation that I was writing on the table while we were discussing what were the projects being removed from the bonding, the original. And I knew this was gonna come up, so that's why I had asked for something on writing, so that at least this way there was something to have a discussion with. However, it was supposed to be, the difference of whatever the all projects that was removed, besides the 2 that was left there, the difference from there was what we were gonna bond for to send to Allen Street. That was the agreement that we had. That's why I came out here with excitement. I came through and was like, hey, we're gonna get you some money. We're going to Allen Street, we're bringing you some money. That's what it was. It wasn't so, it's not for me. It's for the people that live there that have the issues. That's what the issue, when that day came, there were the people that were speaking on why wasn't there money for Allen Street bonded on that packet. So we went inside there. Whose concerns was it? Who brought the concerns? I did. I'm the one that said that Allen Street should be part of this bonding. But we couldn't do it at the moment. So she said we would write something up, and then we would bring it to here that we would amend it. And that's where we're at right now. I didn't bring up no excuse. I didn't bring up nothing out of my head. It was the same day I brought it up. And actually, when I came over there, I asked you and Sharon, I said, you guys sure you're going to have the numbers? I mean, you're going to get the votes for it? And you said, both of you said yes. And that was the reason why I went to you guys. The question I asked you there that day was, and I got one more to prove it, that are you guys going to vote on the mending when it comes down? And you both said yes. And you got a camera there to prove that you both nodded, and I said it. That was the reason why, and I did it there for this reason. For this reason why. Because then I knew somebody was going to go behind our back or try to come up with some little lame excuse that it was just $2 million. No, it was not. It was the $3.575 million that was going to be left over from the bonding from the original packet. That's what we were here for. And that's what we're here now for, was to do that. And if you guys want to back off, we know what your word is at then.
Alderman Smedley, Alderman Simpson was right before you, and then I'll get to you.
Thank you. Alderman Smedley, I think the notion of increasing this amount came from the fact that the city has the material ability to do so. We replaced millions of dollars of bond, or we scrapped the 2 paving projects, right? And that created much more leeway than what we're taking advantage of here. So I would kind of counter you with why, instead of why the 3.575 number, or whatever number it was, why not? It just seems like we're wasting a lot of slack and foregoing at least like $1.5 million or so in projects for what, extra wiggle room for projects we're not even doing? I just don't get that. And and I hear you. If there was an agreement upon 2 million and something changed, I'm sorry, that's the leadership discussion between, frankly, you guys, but I'm asking you to hear me as the alderman whose district who is now not having projects done by this. I refuse to allow the notion that this council is wise enough to make room for projects, but foolish enough to not use it. And this is with the limited information I have. Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Chair.
Alderman Simpson, you are all set. Alderman Smedley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll, through you to Alderman Simpson, the deal was for $2 million behind the door in the leadership conversation, and through you to Alderman Santiago, yes, you did approach Sharon and I, and yes, the camera shows you speaking to us and us shaking our heads. Doesn't record audio, so there's three sides to every story. You know, we could go in circles about that. But the agreement was for $2 million. That's what our caucus was comfortable with at that time in that deal, and that's what we were agreeing to, was to pass this for $2 million. Nobody said you couldn't attempt to amend it, but I'm here today to tell you that we're not comfortable with any amendment above $2 million, and that it will pass to the full council with $2 million, and that's it. Through you again, Mr. Chairman, to Alderman Simpson, just to sum up the rest of your comments, I completely agree with you. I feel like we should be doing projects in all the wards, and I'm struggling with this Allen Street project because from the beginning, we don't know, one, that from Oak Street to Stanley Street will solve this flooding problem. We really don't. And number two, we don't know how much it will cost. So we're going to continue to allocate money, like you're saying, that could be used for projects in other wards to improve things that we know will have an immediate impact, while we should possibly, you know, hold off a little bit on this Allen Street project even further. I'm not saying Allen Street doesn't need the work or the money. It does. I live in the area. I know it does. I see the flooding when it happens. But again, if we allocate more than $2 million this time, that's going to put it up to, you know, let's say $7 million for round figures, because it was, you know, I think 3 or 4 the first time when we were with the state delegation as a promise, and now we're adding the 2. Where are we going to go to next when the state doesn't come through? Our taxpayers can't afford this. They can't. So this will pass with our caucus with $2 million, not a penny more. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Smedley. We had Alderman Simpson, Alderman Pabon, and then Alderman McNamara in that order.
Thank you. Just through you to Alderman Smedley, I'm glad that we agree on the projects that are getting done, but for the projects you're referring to that could use the Allen Street money, which projects are those? I just don't have a material understanding of what you're referring to in an attempt to like make a comparison between projects that are at least somewhat in the pipeline, Allen Street, versus projects that haven't been demonstrated that they actually are. So again, it's like we're leaving $1.5 million of just kind of empty space here.
Yeah.
And my district is suffering because of that.
Just a brief moment so you can respond, and then we'll move.
Oh, my mic went off. You know, I don't have specific projects for your ward either. You know, I'm not the Public Works Director, so I don't know what needs priority based on, you know, repairs that we need. For instance, the city has a claims committee, and if we know that a sidewalk is damaged or broken and is a trip hazard, we have a liability to fix that sidewalk and or roadway. So if we don't take up a project like that, like some of this money was allocated for, we're then liable for every injury claim that comes up following our lack of, you know, doing anything about it. So when you prioritize projects in a public works environment or in a municipality environment, and I'm not the professional on this, it's just from my years of being on the claims committee and corporation counsel lawyers sitting there and private lawyers sitting there and telling us, you knew about this, you didn't fix it. We have a lot more claims for people who trip and fall than we do from the Allen Street area. Mr. Chase and 3 other neighbors are the only people who continually show up, and all the respect to them for that. I keep his picture at my council desk. But I struggle to find the you know, the urgency right now to continue to dump money into this. That's all.
Thank you, Alderman Smedley. Alderman Pabon.
Can't we wait till the state gives us a $10 million or whatever they're gonna give us before we put more money into the bonding?
Rhetorical.
Because this won't happen unless the state gives us $10 million.
That was the amendment, actually, that we placed in, Alderman Pabon. That was the first amendment, so the,
That language is in.
right. Any other,
Mr. Chair.
more questions?
No,
Yeah, that language is in there, so that.
Okay, yeah, so-
money- Yes,
Just to answer your question.
instead of tying the money up,
The money's not gonna, the money won't get passed unless the state does give in their part.
yeah,
So
so,
it's a contingent. So which means is if the state gives up their money part, then we put our part. But if they don't put their part, then it doesn't go anywhere. So it's pretty much just saying, hey, we have it here, we're meeting you halfway, because basically we'll be half, and do something about it. You know, I mean, again, we've been waiting, they've been waiting for more than over 20 years on this. Over that, how long can we wait for again, these are individuals' homes that every day you see a pouring rain, they have to go downstairs to make sure to see if their basement hasn't got flooded, or their toilets are overflowing, and I've seen it from my own firsthand, living on Green Street, how that feels like. When you have sewage coming out of your bathtub, your toilets, it's crazy. It's unsanitized, and you just wake up and you see your shoes floating away because you have no control over that. Again, it's enough. We've been waiting. I mean, the people has been waiting too long for any project that has to significantly deal with them directly. Every project that we've done is a fluff. This is actually a project that's going to go directly to the people that are suffering from it. And they're the ones, they pay the taxes. They're the ones that have to get their insurance upgrades up because they don't want, insurances are not covering them for it no more. They're the ones that have to worry about doing their homes over again. Their foundations is getting ruined from it because you know what water does to foundations? A lot. Deteriorates, decomposes. Before you know it, you have no basement. Again, it's enough and enough. 3.57, go, how much, again, Chase said in his speech of how much ARPA money that was passed through. Yes, my district got benefit of it from a park. But again, that was a community. That's is students, children, massive people uses it. So that, again, is utilized correctly. There's projects that, again, not people are going to be able to use. I mean, again, we look at Down Johnny Drive, correct? Where they had us, we said wait, right? Then they asked us to wait. We asked to wait for the proper information for that project. We didn't get no schematics, nothing. A picture of two people walking down a cartoon. That's what we got, and that's what they wanted us to vote on $5-point-something million for. $5-point-some million on a project that we didn't even know what was really going to be entailed. This one, we have architectures, we have walkthroughs, we have so many. I don't know how many. Again, you're asking if this project is going to work. Then why you have your developers and your architectures and your engineers walking through, giving you the schematics of what's going to work? This is what we're investing in. What our people that we put our money into, the professionals, to give us advice on what should be there. And this is the money that they're asking to allocate to put the project to use. All we're doing is meeting halfway. I don't see where's something wrong with that.
Thank you, Alderman Santiago. Answering Alderman Pabon's question, Alderman McNamara was next, then Alderwoman Scott. And then
Sorry.
I am trying my best here. It's as I see them. Alderman McNamara was next up.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I'm just going to go into the caucus room and retrieve a document for this conversation. I'll be right back.
You ask for a recess?
No, Jesus. No.
You have to, you can't need to see that.
Yeah.
You can't need to see without having.
Can I have my 2 cents?
Alderman McNamara, please, it was your turn to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. When this term began, this project was on the capital improvement project at $6.7 million. And I got word that we couldn't afford it, where a FEMA grant was listed as a possible source. The previous council appropriated $4 million for the project, but due to technicalities that weren't fully ever explained to me, committed to it. But we made progress in this term. And just to clarify, the project is shovel-ready as of April 30th, or just about. It will be. It is shovel-ready this year. And $2 million will get us to 45% on the city side for the total $13.9 million or $14 million cost of the project. 3.575 will get us north of 50%. Mr. Perugini has a better calculator than me. But so I need to support hearing what I've heard as a representative of Ward 4, I'm going to support whatever I can to get commitments, as much commitment as possible. That being said, on the state side, to Alderman Smedley's points, there's two possible sources for the balance of the money, no matter what this bond amounts to, and that is a directed grant from the Bond Commission that I believe requires other cities with identical problems and the state government making a decision to help critical neighborhoods around the state, and also the Deep Clean Water Fund grants that do exist to address these issues. So that's why there is hope to get the balance of funds this year. So I think a lot of progress has been made in terms of we as a council together, and I need to support as much of resources the city and state can provide if it's available at this point in time. So for that, just to clarify, it is shovel-ready, it is ready to go, and whatever we can do to resolve this, a critical problem. And granted, it's one neighborhood, but it's 60 houses. It's for all the reasons enumerated by Mr. Chase over the months, or Mr. Santiago, and that, I'll support the amendment.
Thank you, Alderman McNamara. Alderwoman Barbosa was next.
So this Ellen Street has been happening since the mayor has taken over. How much was it calculated at when the mayor took over her first term? How much was this repair calculated at?
Would you like to, point of information, Alderman McNamara?
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Alderwoman, so we've been requesting the money from the state of Connecticut. We've been requesting anywhere from $8 to $10 million since at least 2015.
Okay. During that time, how much money has the city been allocating aside for Allen Street? It hasn't been allocated anything throughout the years?
In what regards? For the project?
Yes.
Well, we don't generally set up specific funds for accounts unless it's bonded for.
So Allen Street has been having this problem and nothing's really been done for it, basically.
Besides advocacy, I mean, and then the last $4 million that Alderman Smedley had brought up has already been pledged to the state.
So basically, nothing's really been done for Allen
Well,
Street.
I don't know if I'd call it $4 million nothing.
At this point, yeah, and we're crying over 1.575 additional. Okay.
Thank you, Alderwoman Barbosa. Alderman Simpson?
So the amendment here increases the bonding by $1,575,000. I have our capital improvement project sitting in front of me, and I don't know if others have it, but project number 33 is literally titled Allen Street Utility / Road Reconstruction Phase 2. Next year, we're spending $3.5 million on reconstructing that road, and while I'm sure it's a great project, this is almost twice the amount of money we are considering tonight. So one thing I do kind of fear is we do all this hard work on Allen Street over the next 3 years, totaling $14 million, right? Not even including the flooding, to my knowledge, not even addressing that. Are we gonna do all this work on the roads to then bond at some later point to then tear up this road and fix the pipes underneath it? I wish DPW were here to answer, but this is just something I need for us to consider here.
Alderman McNamara, would you like to
Just a
provide
point of information, the Phase 2 project is inclusive of road work, but also digging down 30 feet to replace the 100-year-old sewage water infrastructure. So you're talking about one and the same project. The capital improvement program, maybe Jonathan or somebody is a roadmap for what's ahead in terms of capital improvements. This project has been on the capital improvement program for 8 to 10 years. and it referenced a FEMA application, but every year, there was zero funds available from the various sources the city has tried for. So Phase 2 is inclusive of all that, including what we're talking about here tonight. And as I mentioned, progress is being made, but the cost originally was $6.7 million some 10 years ago.
2013.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman McNamara, for that point of information. Alderman Smedley, you got to wait for Alderman Russell first, and then I'll get to you.
I just want to ask, has anybody from the other side actually reached out to the mayor and have a discussion with raising this?
Alderman Santiago, you want a point of information, that one?
Could you repeat that again?
Has
Has
anyone reached out?
anybody from the other side reached out to the mayor and have a discussion about raising this bond?
The discussion was in our meeting that we had over there. That was the
So
discussion.
you didn't call her and have a conversation with her about increasing it?
It was told at the moment at a meeting that it was going to get raised.
So your answer is no?
No, I did not call her after
Thank
that,
you.
yes.
His
That's the
answer
case.
is incomplete because he keeps being
Alderman Simpson, hang
interrupted.
on. Alderman Simpson, we got,
But again, why should I have, I'm not a babysitter, I'm not a caretaker. If I get your word, I believe in your word, that's what I get. That's the reason why, in just that little hint, I had to ask for something written, just for that reason, because if not, from all the reasons, from the phone call that individual Smith, I remember saying that somebody said that they were promised something and never got that, and then there was another phone call that again, the same thing, multiple phone calls that have been said and conversations that again, weren't recorded as he say, she say, correct? So this is why I made sure that at least something was on paper that we have to start with. And then again, the conversation was, she said she'll go in there, write something up, put $2 million, but we could amend it. That was exact words. I came out here, I said it, I said, the guys, we'll be able to get the difference of whatever the project was. And that was 3.575, because I knew for exactly, because I did it there in the same room. I wrote it down. I wish I had the papers, because I'm looking through it. I wish I had the papers, but I did wrote it down, because I added up all the projects. I minused out the 2 projects that were going to be passed in there, and that's what the total was, 3.575. If I'm correct, is that, I mean, if you took the project, I'm sorry, let me go back up. Question, Mr. Jonathan, if, you have to answer the question, you don't have to look at him. How much, could you do me a favor?
Oh, okay.
And add
I'm
up
sorry,
the-
point of order, Mr. Chairman. What was that comment?
Huh?
What was that comment?
You know what I said.
Yeah, but it wasn't appropriate.
Again, excuse me then. What is the total of the 2 projects, after the 2 projects that were
Chair,
bonded?
the question was, did he contact the mayor? That's all.
No, now I'm,
Point of order, no, hang on.
I'm sorry.
We're not gonna sit here and interrupt each other.
Well, it's my
You're not the chairman.
I know.
I would just beg,
All right,
all members, please, let's all collectively breathe for 5 seconds. Alderman Russell had questioned Alderman Santiago about a phone call. If you want to call up for more information, please just wait till the next
Yes, thank
turnaround,
you.
and then we'll.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Jonathan, just bear
Give me
with
a
us, but
second.
please have a seat.
Actually, if
for-
you want, that question will be asked, if you want to add that up, thank you.
I gotta find it, because I don't have the paperwork with me, so I gotta look at the old agenda.
We will swing back around. All right, so Alderman Russell, have you finished your question? The question was finished, yes. Thank you very much for that. The next person I had, I believe, was Alderman Smedley, and then I had Alderwoman Scott.
Thank you. I just want to hammer home that the agreement was for $2 million. Anybody has the right to amend anything at any time, and that was the conversation, and it probably was your words that you would amend it, and that's fine, but this resolution will not pass for anything more than $2 million at this point. And I just question, why was this not prioritized by the governor? Why was this request not prioritized by Representative Sanchez? Where's the support and all of the clout that our representatives at the state level claim to have if these projects aren't happening? Also, point of information, John Downey Drive was LoCIP grant money. So, I'm confused about the apples-to-apples comparison there from the other side. And at this point, this is a vicious cycle, so motion to call the question on the amendment.
I've got a motion to call the question. Does that require a second? I have a second from Alderman Pabon. It's on the item as amended, and are we going for a?
Roll call.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, in the order of process, the motion to call the question, you're voting on calling the question, not the amendment at this point.
Oh. So we don't need a roll call there?
You have to vote on calling the
Right, it's going to be a roll call whether we call the question at this point. So let's,
Still gotta vote.
we have to vote whether we are calling the question. So Alderwoman Scott, for instance, if you have more questions, you should consider voting no on calling the question right now. But I think procedurally, we're roll calling it.
I'm calling the question.
That's right, we're roll calling on calling.
Alderman Connors,
Given, I think there's more discussion, I'll vote no.
Alderwoman Barbosa, Alderman McNamara,
No.
Alderman Santiago,
No.
Alderman Simpson,
No.
Alderman Gibson.
Yes.
Alderman Pabon.
Yes.
Alderman Smedley,
Yes.
Commissioner Selgars? Seglers. Yes. Oh, say that again? You were next on the list. Alderman Russell? 5 votes yes, 5 votes no.
I already voted.
No, that's what it is, 5-5, so it doesn't pass.
It does not pass. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Alderwoman Scott.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, regarding the misinformation given at the beginning of this term regarding the $4 million that was supposed to be towards this project, I had concerns that we were going to have this disagreement because of that. I feel like this is like the field of dreams. Like, if we don't do it, it's not going to happen, right? It's never going to get fixed if we don't start putting something towards it. We did have our state representative, Dave DeFazio, came here twice and public participated on his own time, telling us how we could start working to get this done. He was asking for us to prioritize our spending, and that if we were able to put some money towards the project, then the state would be able to help out. That's what everybody heard here. There are extreme safety issues regarding, I heard someone bring up the safety issues with people falling on the street and stuff like that, and I have huge concerns about that too. But we have to prioritize our time. This has been waiting for a very long time. Someone could very well lose their life over this flooding issue. And I think that we need to really start thinking about that as being a priority right now. So.
Thank you, Alderwoman Scott. Do I have further discussion on the amendment? Alderman Santiago.
Again, sorry, Mr. Jonathan. What would be the?
I actually need the council's help on this one because I don't have the materials from last week. What passed off the 6.3? There were 4 items.
The 2 items that were removed was the paving, both paving projects.
Both paving, the Walnut Hill paving got removed, and then Willowbrook Park paving, right?
Correct.
Okay. So then the original 6.3 appropriation got amended to $2,725,000. So then the 2 that got removed, you're saying, are the paving projects of Walnut Hill paving was $1,625,000, and then the other paving was Willowbrook paving was $1,950,000. So it's a total of 3,575,000.
575, right.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Perugini. No further questions from Alderman Santiago. Alderman Simpson.
Thank you. I just want to actually correct myself. Alderman Russell, I did not notice you initially in the meeting, and so I stated I'm the only alderman whose district suffered because of that trade-off we did. My apologies, but I will remind us, this is our district that suffered those changes.
Thank you, Alderman Simpson. Any further discussion on the amendment? It appears none. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Roll call.
We have a roll call request. I have a sufficient number of folks standing up. Let's get that roll call going.
Alderman Connors,
I'd just like to say I would vote for 3 million or 2 million, but I will vote yes on the amendment.
Alderwoman Barbosa,
We're voting on Alderman Santiago's amendment to raise the amount.
Alderman McNamara,
Yes.
Alderman Santiago, Alderman Simpson, Alderman Gibson, Alderman Pabot, Alderman Smedley, Commissioner Seglers, Alderman Russell. We have 5 votes yes, 5 votes no.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir.
So the vote fails. We are, the amendment fails. We are back to the item as amended once. Any discussion on the item as amended once?
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Santiago.
Move the question.
We have a move.
Move the question.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Great, so we're moving to call the question. I will just say all in favor of the item as amended once, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Wonderful.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn at 7:06 PM. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Well, we got the 2 million. Of course it was.